Hello everyone and welcome to the American Airlines Center that is currently being absolutely torn down all around me right now because that court right there, that Dallas Wings court, needs to get back to Arlington because we got a back to back. Oh my goodness, I about ducked and covered with that noise. But this is about getting back to Arlington because there is another game which I will be at tomorrow against the Mystics, but we're talking about tonight. We're talking about the night in Dallas at the American Airlines Center. That was supposed to be Paige versus Caitlin for the first time in the WNBA. Obviously, that didn't happen. Caitlin Clark out with her second consecutive game with a groin injury. Fair enough. Keep that thing healed up because you're going to need her for the long term here. Absolutely fair enough. I was obviously disappointed. I mean, there were so many fans here that were wearing 22 jerseys, and there was also a whole lot of split jerseys. And I'm not gonna lie, I hate the concept of split jerseys as a whole. I don't know if that's where exactly I draw the line, but whether it be like a dad in Caitlin Clark jersey and the daughter in Paige Beckers jerseys, or there were couples in dueling jerseys. There was people that made custom shirts with Caitlin and Paige on it. Like the energy in here was really dope. Again, not my style when it comes to the mixed jerseys. Let's respectfully pick a side. Like, we don't need to be hateful, but you know, that's just, but I digress. Okay, let's talk about this game because look, obviously no Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell. Hello. Look, 32 points tonight. If you can get that version of Kelsey Mitchell, not that you need that much of Kelsey Mitchell when Caitlin Clark's on the court and is performing at the way that we know Caitlin Clark can. But if you get that level of Kelsey Mitchell next to Caitlin Clark, goodness gracious, have fun. Rest of the WNBA, have fun. I wouldn't want to try and guard that. I wouldn't. I thought Aaliyah Boston was great tonight. 21 points for her as well, 9 of 14. It still felt like times where, not to oversimplify it, but like to oversimplify it, you just got to give Aaliyah Boston the ball sometimes. You do. And I felt like there was a couple times where that still could have happened, but that's just me being picky because realistically, it looked like the Kobe and Shaq meme, like where they start from the feet and go up when it comes to Kelsey and Aaliyah today. But the player that I am most impressed by and in terms of projecting into the future, what you need to see more of is Natasha Howard. I mean, she was fantastic tonight. Like, this is what Natasha Howard needs to be, especially with the departure of DeWanna Bonner and knowing that DeWanna Bonner is not going to be around any further. Natasha Howard, if you can go and give this, if you can go and get an efficient double-double with what, 3 steals, right? 3 steals? Come on now. Disruptive defense, efficient offense, that's all you need. It doesn't have to be some crazy scoring night, but that was the perfect Natasha Howard game to me, of what this Fever team needs Natasha Howard to be. You're not asking the world of her. You're not asking her to go and be the MVP, even though she said she was ready and willing. You're not asking for that. And today you got exactly what you needed. I was incredibly impressed. But I think the big thing here is that the Fever give up a lead again. And we obviously just saw them give up a lead and lose a game today, and not great. Because you give it the lead again, it was 23, 25 points, something like that, early on in this game. I mean, they just came out firing. But Dallas Wings worked their way back into this game. And in one hand, it's like, good, improvement, genuinely, like improvement. You don't lose the game. You're able to kind of withstand that comeback. But also, like, this can't become a trend if you're a Fever fan. This can't become a trend if you're a Fever player or coach. These heart races aren't going to be good for the health. They're not. And in terms of just trying to gain some easy nights in the W, if you're able to go and build that lead, you need to do your best to keep it. And that's easier said than done. I completely understand that. They're professionals for a reason, but you have to try your best to keep that lead because there was a player on that other side that was absolutely gunning for it, and that was Paige Bueckers. And let me tell you right now, my biggest complaint about Paige Bueckers, and I know I'm not the only one when it comes to this, is purely shot volume, right? That has always been the kind of the thing during her UConn days, but during the press conference, she said, this team needs me to be aggressive, so that's what I'm going to go do. Goodness gracious. That was a superstar out there tonight. I don't know what to tell y'all. Like, that was 27 points, 9 of 18, 7 of 7 from the line. She gets, what, 6 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, two-way play, right? I mean, that closeout block she had, and then she gets the other block and then goes and hits the step-back 3 on Lexi Hull. That's superstar Paige right there. And, like, there wasn't much from Paige individually that you could complain about in this game. You want to talk about just doing every single aspect of the game? That's what she was doing tonight, and I was incredibly impressed. What I wasn't impressed by was the Dallas Wings as a whole. Generally speaking, look, so that might be a bit harsh because there are good things to take away from this game in the sense of, yes, you go and fight back. You go and make the comeback. You're able to get stops. You're able to kind of get rolling and to make the comeback, right? So, like, obviously some things had to string together well, but there still just felt like so many tough shots. I don't know what they are trying to do in the half court. And look, I mean, they didn't have, Chris McClellan said in the post-game press conference, they didn't have a fast break point until Paige Beckers has the heave right at the end of the first half. That's unacceptable. And a lot of that had to do with how good the Fever were shooting and the fact they were taking the ball out of the net. But goodness gracious, make life easier on yourself. And playing in the half court every single time down the floor makes life hard. And it helps whenever you have a talent like Paige Beckers that allows the hard to look easy at times. But there were still just so many possessions where I'm like, oh, that's a bad shot. Ooh, that's a tough shot. And that's hard to stomach, right? That's hard to stomach, and it's still feels like we're at a point where the Dallas Wings I don't really know exactly what their identity wants to be, and I'm not sure if that's something that gets fixed this year, and that's just the kind of the reality of this situation, right? And obviously this has been a struggle already, but I mean, Arike 5 of 12, it's an interesting Arike game because like I never felt like there was like bad shots, but not like super impactful. I thought Isaiah James, like, what a revelation. Not that Isaiah James is doing anything that like we're not accustomed to seeing in her time at NC State, but I don't think anyone really was like, oh, Isaiah James is gonna come out and be like a top contributor in year one. Like that wasn't like the expectation truly, right? But she's doing it, and she's been incredible to watch. And I thought that was another showing of that today. I also thought JJ Quinterly just doing JJ Quinterly things, right? Like if you watched her at West Virginia, like it's not always the scoring, but it's the hustle, it's the defense, it's the playmaking. Like that's what you got today from JJ Quinterly as well. But I mean, it's interesting takeaways from each team tonight. Again, like this was a game that looked long over, but then the Fever repeated the same problem of blowing a lead, and that is worrisome. But then you see some new things, like again, Natasha Howard having this complete of a game, right? Kelsey Mitchell having this efficient of a high-scoring game with Caitlin Clark out, and you're in terms of trying to keep the ship afloat a little bit during this time without Caitlin Clark. Those are the type of performances that not only do you need now, but you're gonna need when Caitlin Clark comes back. And so I was very, very impressed by those two in particular. And again, Aaliyah Boston was great as well. But let me know what you think from this game. Obviously, not the key night in Dallas matchup that we had hoped to see with Caitlin versus Paige, but that is still on the horizon. I'll be here because tomorrow, like I said at the beginning, this court is getting packed up right now as we speak. They're about a fourth of the way done. And probably ready for me to leave if I'm being quite honest, but hey, oh well. But no, Mystics tomorrow, Rookie of the Year, like he talks Paige Beckers, Sonia Citron, Kiki Iriefin. These are the type of players we are going to be seeing on the court tomorrow, and I'm very, very excited. A couple of friends in no cap space in that list. I mean, look, Kiki was our very first interview. We had a great interview with Sonia as well. You can find both of those on the channel, but make sure you stay tapped in here because I will have you covered for that game. And of course, nocapspacewbb.com for my full post-game notebook and post-game review of this game as well. You can find that in the link in the description below. Until tomorrow, where I'll come at you with more social media content, with another post-game wrap and with another post-game notebook. I'll see you then.